Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Maureen. Good morning, Yvonne. Thank you for joining me on this roundtable discussion. I'm Brenda Namwea, and I'm having this discussion for the UMGC IT project management for my final exam. And today is April 2nd, 2022. So basically our discussion, we are going to start with some introductions from you, my people who managed to join me in, and then of course we shall discuss about our IT project management, what it's all about, and of course project management life cycle, our risk management, and then of course communication in project management. So over to you. We can start with the brief introductions, and I'm informing you that I will be recording. I hope it's very okay with everyone on here.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So maybe we can start with brief introductions from you.
I'll go first. My name is Yvonne Wekesa. I work for the Washington University School of Medicine as a patient billing and representative specialist. I've done quite a number of projects before, and I'd be happy to share my feedback.
Thank you, Yvonne.
My name is Maureen Nabwefuma. I'm a registered health information technician, and I'm the health information manager at Missouri Veterans Home. I'm glad to be here with you.
Thanks, Maureen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Susan Nanyonga, and I am doing masters in rehabilitation counseling. Yes, here in South Korea, and I've worked as a counselor before. I've started a number of projects, and somehow some like they didn't succeed. I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Susan. I guess from this discussion, we shall know probably why the projects didn't succeed along the way. Thank you all for your introductions. So basically, according to the Project Management Institute, they tell us that project management is mostly about using of specific knowledge, skills, techniques, and different tools to be able to meet certain project objectives. Maybe we can start from there. What are we can share a bit, one or two, what are some of the IT projects any of you has worked on or has been part of, whether they were successful or did they fail and why? We can start from there, our discussion.
I'll go first.
Oh, yes, Susan.
Well, we have done an internet cafe, a place where you come in and use internet for, like, it's a public place. Yeah, you come in and use internet, then you pay and then you go away. But over the years, internet went viral, like it went rampant. Like everyone had an internet on their phones.
Yeah.
Which led to the decline of the project.
Well, actually, when internet cafes actually became dead at some point, actually they became dead. The fact that we all can access our internet on our phones, so it becomes really complicated now to someone to go into somewhere to surf something or to get something.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other person?
True.
The one that comes to mind the most for me is when I was working for a telecom company in Uganda.
Yes.
And we had just done an integration with another telecom company. So they had taken on employees from both companies to merge and make one company. And so the IT project that we were doing was called the CRM, and that's the customer relationship management tool. And that tool is supposed to be helpful for all departments across the organization. So it starts with customer service. A customer comes in and wants to buy, say, data or phones or a whole package. He has a company somewhere, he wants to have his employees have phones and phones that have internet. And so you sign up that customer and information is input into the system for the major details, say customer name, number of employees, location, and maybe amount of data that they need. And that is at the customer care point. And now at the sales point, when the customer goes to make the payment, the person in sales is able to see, oh, this is customer X located in place T, paying this amount of money. He's paid for 1 year contract, so he will be with us for 1 year. And this is a recurring payment. And then someone in procurement is going to go into the same system and see that these people are going to need, say, SIM cards on a 3 months basis. And so when we were implementing that project, there were a number of things that we were looking at. We were looking at, does everyone have what they need on the system? And before the system was implemented, everyone from different departments, we had super users who would go in there and give us the basics of what they need. Yes. So that anyone in any department is comfortable using the system. But the implementation project, I would say, would be the longest time because you're getting feedback from all departments because you don't want to launch it until everyone is comfortable. Yes. So getting feedback on a daily basis, implementing that feedback into the system, going back to the users and testing before the project is implemented. And finally, when people are comfortable using it back end, you can go ahead and launch it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So did you launch? Yes, we did. But like I said, the implementation stage took about maybe 6 to 9 months of people going back and forth, sharing feedback. Yes, adjust this. Can we test it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It must have been an interesting period. Yes, it was. And it gave us a lot of learnings for the next projects. Oh, okay. That's good. Maureen, you have a project to share with us?
Yes, I have worked on several EHR implementation projects. The last one was last year. We were moving from Blue Strata to WellSky Interactant. And it is one of the biggest undertakings I have participated on. Wow. We were going live in 7 homes at the same time. And it was a challenge. Oh, did you manage, did you complete it? Or it's still work in progress? It is still going on as we're still migrating the data from the legacy system. How long do you think it's going to take? At this point, we don't know yet because we are having issues with compatibility of the 2 systems. So we need to edit the data in the legacy system so that it can flow smoothly into the new one. Okay, I understand. But what was the time frame for that project? Are you still working within that time frame? No, we are out of the time frame. We thought it would take about 9 months, and it is still a little over 1 year. Oh, wow. Okay. So basically now you're into that scope creep, I can see at some point there. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. As we're discussing, actually, I was seeing how
that is coming to the project life cycle, of course, of where you initiate the concept. I saw Yvonne, as you were explaining to me how the concept was initiated, where you realized the need for the organization, of course, that had to be achieved. And then I've seen, of course, as we go through the project life cycle, that definitely requirements have been developed on all the projects that you have talked about, estimations of budgets, resources that need to be put together. And of course, some of you have implemented some of the projects where I've worked with teams, you've monitored progress, you've managed your budgets, you've communicated with the teams, and of course, there's the stakeholders. Looks like only one person managed to close to close the project, of course, where you're doing still analysis, project performance, also analysis of the teams, evaluations of everything, whether things are running as they're supposed to be running. So as we looked at the project life cycle, everyone, I think, has seen that certain projects at some stage they stop, or at some stage you're still moving on to do these projects. Maybe we can share some few examples of different experiences, which of course we have shared. Any other experiences maybe that you have had where a project has moved up to somewhere? Maybe Maureen, your project is it yet on implementation? Or we are still on requirements?
We are implementing.
Mm.
And for some things, we have to make adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
We went over our budget, so we had to wait to get into the new financial year to get some more money, because we needed a lot more than we had anticipated.
Mm.
And then also, we had an issue with data retention, and we had to at one point we had to put the project on hold, because the new contractor did not want to move all the data, and we have to store records for 10 years after discharge.
Wow.
And they did not want to move that data. And the legacy system, the people hosting the legacy system are out of business. So that was a challenge of where we have to store that data.
Wow. So, a lot is going on. It's going to take some more real time, actually.
Yes.
Yes, I can see scope creep has just come in already. So more time.
More time.
Yes.
And I feel like it was an issue with the communication when everybody was setting their requirements.
Oh, okay. We are going to actually discuss about communication at some point.
All right.
I have it in my presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone still has something to share on their project life cycle? Okay. We can move then to risk management. In most cases, of course, like we have discussed, you see that when you start a project, definitely there is a lot of uncertainty, whether things are going to happen or they're not going to happen. Are we going to be able to finish within that specific time? And of course, that will create the risk. And in most cases, the common project risks that arise come out from the cost risk, which is you might end up, or spending more money on a project than your anticipated budget. Of course, at times the schedule, which I see with you more in your schedule, I think has become longer than anticipated. At times also the performance risk, where the project will fail to produce results consistent with the project specifications. And then of course, basically how we can manage this risk, we have to identify that risk, we assess it, of course we plan the action, and then at some point we shall implement, and then later on measure how this risk is going to be handled. So what risks have you encountered while executing some of your projects? Some of those projects you have done, of course, and any other projects, some of the projects we have discussed, and maybe any other projects. Susan, maybe you can tell us what risks you have encountered while executing your IT projects.
Well, we remember we had invested a lot in computers.
Mm,
Yeah, and they were outdated, I should say.
mm,
Everyone switched to their phones, their laptops. So we ended up like not knowing where to sell the computers.
mm.
So yes.
Oh, after you wound up the project.
Yes.
Wow, okay. Yvonne, any other risks that you encountered while executing the project, despite the fact that, of course, yours was implemented and closed?
The consistent risk that I have encountered during most of the IT projects I've been involved in has been overlooking the real users of the system or the end users of the project. Usually companies are focused on the end result, delivering their project or the system, and they forget what the actual user needs or wants or will be comfortable with. And then you go about getting all the specifications and timelines. And then when it comes to the actual user, you're almost ready to implement the project and you have to go back 6-7 steps to make sure that the person who's using is comfortable. Because for that project that I was talking about, the CRM project, a lot of resources were put into that project and feedback was got from the actual users.
Yes.
That was not taken serious or designed around the user. And when it got to time for this project to be implemented, the users were not comfortable.
Wow, yeah.
And so that the project ended up taking a longer period just because they had to go back to the drawing board and redesign around the pain points.
So which means also your project was not accomplished within the stated period of time.
Yes, we went over time by about 3 to 6 months.
And I think it's common with most IT projects. It's very rare to find a project that ends within that specific time that you have, specified that this is the time we are supposed to finish within a year. We are supposed to be done by that. Looks like there is always something that will keep on coming up and then, slows you down along the way to reach the closing. Maureen, any risks?
I just want to add on what Yvonne said about having the end user in mind when they're designing these projects, because up to now, we are still tweaking the system for the end users to be able to use it.
Yeah.
For example, there are functions that were turned on that are not realistic. Like if the patient and take ratio is 25 to 30, and every time they're giving them the drugs, they have to monitor the temperature, the blood sugar, the blood pressure, and they can't move on to the next screen until they put in that data. It is unreasonable for the text to operate like that and be able to go through all their tasks. So I think that is the biggest takeaway we have to take from IT projects, is that we need to involve the end users in the planning process.
In the planning process, yes. Okay, so actually, that's where also as well communication comes in, because you end up communicating to a few heads of probably certain units, and then you haven't communicated to the other end users who are going to use the system, and then you miss out on information that you need. That's why I came up with a slide on communication, of course, where communication in project management is mostly about having the message received by the receiver, but like how it was sent, and realize that 90% of the time while we are doing project management, this project manager is communicating a lot of information through maybe face-to-face meetings, collaborations, conferencing, and all that. So at some point, I think Maureen, you said somewhere where you've seen communication gaps in your project to be able to succeed. You've seen that maybe also the communication plan is not proper, everything is not in place. That's why things are dragging, you know, and you're missing out on accomplishing your project.
Yes, for communication has to be effective and it has to be in different forms because we all use different forms of communication. Some people can have a face-to-face, some people work well in like a Zoom meeting like this, other people prefer emails, other people prefer memos. So to undertake a big project, like if you're changing an EHR system, you should be flexible to use at least more than one forms of communication so that the information reaches the people who need to receive it and act on it on time.
Yes, actually from that also, it will tell us the different information we are supposed to communicate while we are doing projects. We can have a discussion on that. What information are we supposed to, of course, communicate, apart from definitely, yes, the status of the project, but then issues where we are having, you know, things are stopping somewhere. What are we supposed to be communicating in these projects, apart from maybe what I have on there?
New expectations should be communicated well to the team, and then setting a new timeline to suit the new expectations. We cannot stick to the old timeline if something else is eating into the time you had already set. For example, it is unrealistic to say we'll close this project in 1 year and then we are 3 months behind. So at that time, you have to get back and discuss new timelines and then communicate to everybody, send out the information to everybody. And then I feel like project managers have to be very open with the team they are working with and explain to them like the challenges they are facing. When people know exactly what you're dealing with, they readjust their expectations too. A lot of times people just don't say. It is not that they're telling a lie, but they just don't say, which is wrong, because then you cannot perform as required.
Any other thing from Yvonne and Susan that you'd like to add on in terms of communication? What are we supposed to communicate when we are doing projects to make them successful?
For me, I think constant communication is key. Every time feedback is got from different departments or users, it should be shared with the project team, like back and forth feedback, to be sure that what the users are saying is being interpreted as the correct thing.
Oh yes,
as opposed to waiting, say, for all departments to bring their feedback and then acting on it at once. I feel like that takes the project will take a longer time.
Oh yes, that is very right. Susan, any other feedback on communication? How important it is for our projects? Susan, you still there?
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
I think it is okay, especially with my case. When the project fails, you can embark on something else.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Yvonne, for participating in this roundtable discussion on project management. As there was some good insights in there on our projects. Thank you so much, and I wish you a nice evening.
Thank you. All the best in your
Thank you
endeavors.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Same to you.